Mayor Jon Mitchell here this morning.
I have to say, I really love this space here. We should do a lot of events here. We'll make sure we don't stuff up the floor So, for those of you who are going to try to put salad, let's not make a mess today. Thank you, Pat, for the introduction. I do have to leave, but I really wanted to make sure that I got over here to say a few words about the CDBG program. And first of all, let me thank Pat and his staff for all the hard work that we've done over the last several months. There are many people who our city has many needs, and the CDBG program is one way to fulfill those needs, but unfortunately we cannot fulfill all of them. And so Pat and staff have done the hard work of reviewing applications and interviewing folks and presenting information to the community in a fair, thorough, and above-board way so that the city can make the best decisions concerning the distribution of funds as possible. So it's not an easy job, especially in a time when CDBG funds are, as we all know, shrinking at the federal level, cost about 10% of the funds this year alone. Hopefully, that will continue to shrink. We also recognize Mayor Jon, who's Brian Frank's district chief, and who they worked really hard to maintain the viability of the CDBG program. And Brian Frank has been a tireless advocate for the program. It is I'll just say a couple words about the program itself. It has, over the last 3 decades, it was instituted in 1974 during the Nixon administration, provided cities like ours with really important infusions of capital to do the things that we want to do, to build, to assist, to grow. It has helped in this city alone. New Bedford has received since the institution of the program $138 million in CDBG funds. And that has over time enabled us to build things like cobblestone streets in our downtown area, which attract tourists from all over the world. It has enabled us to provide housing for those in need. It has enabled us to support important civic institutions and charities that do their important work for our citizens. And alone, over a period of time, it has enabled us to leverage an additional roughly $1.6 billion in additional assistance from private and public sources. So it's an enormously important program. It is a shrinking program, no doubt. We have to do all we can to be good advocates for sustaining CDBG funding at the federal level, but it is a critical program. It is critical to our plans as a city going forward, and we're here to celebrate the program. So it's a good thing. Let me mention a couple of other things. We are this morning acknowledging the great work of the Homeless Service Providers Network as celebrates 17 years of coordinated cooperative actions and efforts in addressing and eradicating homelessness the New Bedford area. The program began in 1995 when a small group of dedicated individuals from a few nonprofits in our community joined the city to pool strategies, to pool resources and talents in order to have a concerted effort in fighting against homelessness. And those efforts will be further acknowledged today with the presentation of the Sister Rose Award. As I understand, Sister Rose has been feeling a little under the weather, unfortunately won't be able to be here today. I'm not at liberty to disclose the recipient of the award, but he/she is very deserving of this award, and as you will all learn, you're all familiar with this person. He/she has put in many years of service to this community, fighting against homelessness, and I congratulate him and her on. So finally, let me, I have a resolution. I get to do this as mayor. I think this is my first proclamation of a week. And this week will be dedicated to Community Service Week, so let me read the resolution to commemorate this event. It says, whereas the CDBG program has had a significant impact on our local economy through job creation and retention, physical redevelopment, and improved local tax bases, and whereas the program has operated since 1974, providing communities like New Bedford with the resources required to meet the needs of low and moderate income persons, and funds are used by dozens of neighborhood-based nonprofit organizations throughout the community to address pressing neighborhood and human services needs. And whereas the city, through the Office of Housing and Community Development, demonstrated capacity to administer and customize CDBG programs to promote job creation and retention, physical redevelopment, and identify, prioritize, and resolve pressing local problems such as neighborhood and human service needs. And whereas this week marks the national celebration and recognition of the 38th Community Development Week, I therefore, as mayor, by virtue of my authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim this week, April 9th to 15th, Community Development Week in Bedford, Massachusetts, and urge all citizens to join us in recognizing the CDBG program and the important role it plays in our community. This is a vital program for our city. Our tax base is what it is. We're trying our best to grow it. We will grow it over time, but in the meantime, it's very important that we take advantage of these important federal funds, use them to leverage as much private funds as we possibly can, and continue the hard work that we've been doing. I thank you for all of your hard work and service to our community. It is really important. I'm there with you in the fight, and let's continue to work hard on behalf of our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I want to thank the mayor and his great efforts. I think local programs like Community Development Funds require leadership on the local level and commitment to excellence. And I think Mayor Mitchell has, in the first 4 months, has certainly demonstrated his commitment to preservation of our city and its continued brilliance in the future. So, at this point, I'd like to introduce a very important person to the city of New Bedford and to this federal program. Inez is representing Congressman Frank, who is not able to be here today, but I think this might be the first CDBG week since I've been around that Congressman Frank has not been able to attend, but he's certainly here in spirit. He's very well represented by Inez. So Inez, please.
Everybody, a couple of notes just in case I get a little verklempt. Thank you, Pat. It is indeed a pleasure to be here on behalf of Congressman Frank, who could not be here. As Congressman Frank's time representing us winds down, occasions like this are more and more meaningful to me. It has indeed been a privilege representing him wherever he could not be. And I believe, however, as Patrick has said, I have not represented him too many times at CDBG Week, because this is one event that I know he always makes time to be available for. And Patrick is always very kind to work around his schedule if necessary. He has always been the greatest and biggest advocate for community development block grants because he knows that communities like New Bedford need this funding in order to help the most vulnerable people and to help revitalize neighborhoods and communities. And nonprofits like yourselves could not do the valuable work that you do without these grants. To say the last few years have been difficult is an understatement. The needs for services have only grown, and the resources dwindled. Many times we get the calls to our office, and we have to refer people to your organizations that are represented here today, like PACE. I was just remarking, I remember from when I worked at the Immigrants Assistance Center, I was referring people to PACE, and that's like 30 years ago. I know it's hard to believe because I don't look 30, right? But you know, the Veterans Transition Center, the Immigrants Assistance Center, Coastlines, Elderly, so many worthy and wonderful organizations, and please forgive me if I've omitted some of you, but you know who you are. On his behalf, I want to thank you for all that you do and that you continue to do to make New Bedford a better place for all of us. I also want to thank Patrick in particular and his staff for his excellent job as Director of the Housing and Community Development and the administrator of this program. I just absolutely adore Patrick. Frankly speaking, I want you to know Congressman Frank has enjoyed every minute of representing New Bedford in Congress. He called me the weekend before his announcement of his retirement was made to be made public. He called me at home and to let me know that he was retiring. And he said, well, you know, Yash, they took away New Bedford and the river. I won't be representing the fishermen, the Portuguese, the Cape Verdeans. And I think all of that just made his decision to retire a little easier. I thanked him really for his 40 years of service, community service, and the last 20 in particular to Bedford. And the honor of having been a member of his staff. It has been an honor and a privilege for 20 years to have worked for him. I know we will miss his advocacy, his wit, his honesty, his charm. We all know very well there's no one quite like Barney Cunningham. And I also know we will hold whoever represents us next to the standard Congressman Frank has established these 20 years working for us. So thank you on his behalf for all that you do and for looking forward to this today. Thank you.
I did want to mention a couple of things before I introduce the next speaker. Obviously, the success of the community development program in the city is through a lot of hard work and dedication. I wanted to acknowledge the great staff that I have the pleasure of working with. We're all standing over there. And, thank them enough for all their support over the years. I've had the pleasure of working with some really dedicated and caring folks, so I want to certainly acknowledge that. And this would be an appropriate segue into the next speaker, someone that's worked with community development for a number of years early on, and then took a little sabbatical and then came back a few years later. And most of you in the homeless service provider network certainly are familiar with her expertise, her support, her professionalism, and it was a tremendous loss for our office, but certainly a gain for the city of New Bedford, who Christina Conley is now the Assistant Chief of Staff of Mayor Mitchell, and I think she will carry her talents that she brought to our office on a grander scale and a higher level that will benefit an even greater number of folks. So with that said, Christina.
This is a little strange for me, frankly, to be up here. Most of my year was, or my entire previous year was spent as the community development coordinator, and for whom the organization and management and the home service provider network and the continuum of care played a very large role in the work that I did, and took up a lot of my energy, but also my passion. So now I'm here in this capacity, so it is a little strange, but I just want to reiterate, what Mayor Mitchell said about the hard work and dedication of the community development staff, and certainly Congressman Frank, and thank you, Inez, for representing Congressman Frank. And I also just want to take a minute to thank those of you in the Home Service Provider Network that I've had a chance, and really it's been a privilege to work with all of you. And I think we accomplished a lot in just over 4 years that I was involved in the Home Service Provider Network. We continue to bring in our renewal funds for the Kitty Vent and Continuing Care Program. We got some new projects funded. Most recently, the Welcome Home Project through Stepping Stone. So we got that approval, and that process is moving forward. And just for those of you who aren't totally familiar, the reason for being of the HSPN is really the continuum of care, the Kitty Vento Continuum of Care Program, which is administered by HUD. We were sort of required, those 16, 17 years ago, to form a coalition to administer and oversee the distribution of these funds, to work collaboratively. It was HUD sort of mandated it, but it ended up being a blessing that they mandated it, that it happened in that way, because now we have this terrific network of providers that meet monthly, but are in constant communication. We have a terrific mechanism of referrals and getting calls for service and getting the needs of people met very quickly through our email listserv, which is very ably managed by Ken Grace at PACE. And it's just, we have one of the best, if not the best, provider networks in the state, and we've heard that time and time again from people who work in other parts of the state, and it's no joke, it really is the truth. So. A very successful regional network, the South Coast Regional Network in homelessness. So we just continue to really lead in this arena and do great work. And I just want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to work with you, and just to tell you what a pleasure it was to work with all of you. And I'm going to introduce David Lima, who is the current chair of the HSPN. But I also want to pre-congratulate the mystery recipient of the award. I think the mayor said everything that needs to be said. This person is so well deserving of the award, and she will carry the banner proudly as every previous recipient has. And I'm very happy to have worked with this person, and I can't wait to give her a hug after it's all official, and officially congratulate him or her.
This is more he, she, story. Emma. Well, thank you. First, I want to thank Christina, and I do want to do that first because I told her when I became chair just a couple of months ago that I was totally upset with her for leaving because she was a tremendous asset in that office. With all due respect to you, Pat, whom I love too. Your office is tremendous in this city, and there's a lot of people that count on community development and all the work that you do. And though you hate getting that phone call about how they're coming to go over your numbers with you, The fact of the matter is, it's that kind of hard work that makes sure that every penny gets spent doing the right thing in this community. And I'm proud to work with such dedicated people, such dedicated nonprofits and government people that get so much work done. And so with that being said, and with so many things already being said ahead of me, one of the things that we want to highlight today is some of our success stories, and there are many. We're going to bring up two groups, two nonprofits that have got work done in this community and continue to get work done, and bring up two of the recipients of the hard work and hear their stories about success. So first I'd like to bring up Eileen McNamee with Catholic Social Services, and she can introduce her guest.
The only thing I regret today is we didn't get a chance to say something to Mayor Mitchell about that task force that's taking care of neighborhoods. Isn't that terrific? Hopefully a big difference in the city. And I know I personally want to thank you for all the work you've done together. It's been a great ride. We don't get this opportunity very often, so this is really sort of great. I have a young lady who's with us today. Her name is Tanika. And she came into us through Dunman House, which is our transitional housing for homeless women and children. And Tanika on Saturday, I guess, was it Saturday? Saturday, went from transitional into the supportive housing program. She's a wonderful young lady, very articulate, and I'm not going to take her thunder because I know she's probably shaking over there. So come on up, Tanika.
June 2011, I became homeless. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to turn to. I had a friend that was actually in Duncan House before I entered. She gave me the phone number. I called for about 3 weeks. I didn't think I was going to get in. I cried. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then finally, they opened the door. They gave me the opportunity to do better for me and my daughter. I have a 3-year-old. I'm currently enrolled in BCC. I'm obtaining my associates in health science. And as Arlene said, I just moved into the SHP program on Saturday. It is me, my daughter, and my mother. My mother helps me so that I can get a job as well as work.
It's important to realize that, again, homeless. I was homeless a year ago, homeless. Can't say that enough. You can't articulate that loud enough. Our next guest that's going to come and talk about their success, I'm going to bring up Brenda Souza, who helps run the Step Up program, and her guest, Lisa Bedford. You both come up.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is truly an honor to be up here talking about the Step Up program and all the housing programs and all the great work that all of you do to stop homelessness and people with disabilities. I can't speak highly enough on all the work and dedication that you people put into doing this, getting up every day and helping the next person. The honor today I have is introducing Lisa Bedford, who is someone very near and dear to my heart. We go back quite a few years now. And if you want to talk to anybody about how these programs work and how to become a success, talk to Lisa. With that, you can cry.
I'm very nervous, so just so I'm become the queen, please, you know. I did, as far as homelessness, back in 2003, due to drugs and alcohol, I became homeless. I lost everything. job, partner, kids, family. I had a speech, and I said it many times over and over and over again, and I absolutely forgot it. Basically, I'm here today to tell my success story, not so much my story on how drugs and alcohol ruined my life. It did, and it did, I did become homeless, and the fact of losing your children to any mother, any parent, it is absolutely devastating. I now have 5 years clean and sober come June. Basically, I came into New Bedford, from day one. I went into Stepping Stone in New Bedford, and that I'm very, very grateful for. The program, besides my hard work, also helped save my life. And from day one, I came into PACA, and PACA is actually wonderful. For those who don't know what it stands for. It's Positive Action Against Chemical Addiction. And that alone is just a wonderful statement for anyone out there that needs that little bit of a push to say, okay, I can do this, and with the help of the program and all of that. But basically, I got into PACA when I was about 3 months clean and sober. I go to the meetings there, and I met up with one of the directors that gave me a job, and it's very difficult as an addict, especially when you've been out there from 2003 to 2007. You kind of lose yourself, lose self-esteem, and, the hope of, thinking that you can never become part of society again, or live life, like a normal person. And PACA actually did that for me. I read a statement, actually not too long ago, that said you don't judge people by their past, but rather you help them to rebuild their future. And that's exactly what PACA did for me. I started working at High Point as a housekeeper through PACA. And then, I worked my way through it in a program housing, which I stayed in Stepping Stone for quite a long time, just to be able to get my bearings and know that I could do this, on my own 2 feet, And, so as time went through, back in 2008, Brenda said, you know what, you've shown us that, the program, you've worked the program, you've done everything, that the program wants, and they gave me into the step up, they gave me the opportunity to go into the step up program. And, I eventually got all 3 of my children back. Yes. I actually became a supervisor at High Point, the housekeeping department. So, I've worked, the program to the fullest. I've utilized it, everything that they stand for. Now, PACA actually gave me an opportunity again to join their team, and so I've actually, Monday I stepped back again with PACA. They grabbed me again, but as it stands now, I'm on my own 2 feet. I live in my own apartment. I've managed to just do everything as a person could. I don't know. I just think that without my dedication and help from PACA and New Bedford community, New Bedford was, wonderful. They don't discriminate against us. When I say us, I mean the addicts. There is a lot of homeless and addiction in the world, and New Bedford, has so much. They help. They have just so much resources and all of that. And if it wasn't for that and the help of PACA, even Stepping Stone and High Point and everything that, represents, the addiction community, I probably wouldn't be saying anything. Thank you.
And again, I can't. You can't help but hear a story like that and be blessed. You can't help but hear a story like that and understand what it takes to get it done. I truly just want to thank you and the congressman, as well as all our delegation, Because community development block grants, though there are many on talk radio that will tell you that we waste money, quote unquote, the fact of the matter is, I've never seen more programs do harder work with less. And even in her testimony just now, Lisa mentioned 4 programs. That's what's tremendous about this network, the Homeless Service Providers Network, is that we work together on a monthly basis. And though everyone competes for a grant, it's a portion of that grant. That money gets divided, and then everybody works together for the good of those in need, not for themselves. And it's never enough. There's always, how do we get more? How do we help those that we're not catching? Because there's a lot out there that our safety net just doesn't grab. The fact of the matter is, I am proud of this community. There is a lot more that can be done. But with the work and the dedication of the people that are in this room, the people that are out there on the streets on a daily basis, a lot of us go home tonight, we'll be in our warm house, we'll be watching our big screen TV, we'll be getting ready to eat somebody's meal that somebody's cooking somewhere, or we're going to go out and buy it. Somebody's going to be lucky to get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Somebody's going to be lucky if they've got a cardboard box to wrap around themselves so they don't get too cold. This community has a heart. This community works hard. And all of you have a lot to be proud of with all the work that you do. I sit on a lot of different boards and committees. No board or committee that I sit on meets as regularly, meets as fully. There's always at least 20 or 30 people there, even though half of them are Catholic social service.
The number gets reduced by 10.
Those doggone Catholics are everywhere. Praise the Lord. I want to thank you all for that great work that you do. Now, it's time for the He, She Award. The Sister Rose Award. Every year we look to dedicate a trophy in Sister Rose's honor. I'm sorry that she couldn't be here this morning, because, again, I think many of us have given her the title Our Living Saint, and quite frankly, talk about dedication. But I'm not the one presenting the award, so I'm going to bring up He Who Shall, and that's Ken Grace.
First of all, as always, I want to say how humbling it is and how privileged I feel to be able to speak before such a talented and dedicated group of people. There's a wonderful relationship that exists between CDBG and the HSPN, and that marriage actually works between the financial capital that the CDBG provides and the human capital that the HSPN provides. And I think that that's best indicated by the success stories. I am deeply touched by the physical successes that we get to see today that flow directly out of CDBG and the HSPN. I want to go on record and say that I believe the HSPN is the most effective working collaboration against homelessness in the state. I'm very proud of the work that we do. And if you would, please give yourselves a hand. Later on in the day, we'll go back to work to continue the work that we're doing against homelessness. I'm extremely proud of the HSPN. Today I'm going to talk about the Sister Rose Award, and although there were many deserving and worthy candidates, there was one candidate this year who's shown brightest than anyone else. The best way to describe that person is as a tireless crusader who's done most of his professional life devoted toward disrupting the cycle of poverty here in Bedford. Hard work, dedication, and clear vision are three of the words that I would use to describe this individual. He or she has spent over 30 years of their professional life devoted almost exclusively to the betterment of folks who don't have the same privileges and advantages that we do. I was not going to bore you with a long list of his or her accomplishments or affiliations, but I've chosen to simply because I know the modesty of this person, and if you don't hear it from me, you never will. So some of the things that this person has accomplished include the following. They actually have served on numerous boards across the city of New Bedford. Excuse me. This person is a past president of Shore Support, is a member of the WIB Board, the Workforce Investment Board, and past treasurer, is a member of MassCAP, the Massachusetts Association for Community Action, and past president of that board as well, is a board member of WHALE, the Waterfront Historic Area League, and was in 2011 chairperson of the HSPN. This person is also providing assistance and expertise in various community organizations. Treatment on Demand, Hands Across the River, Youth Unite, Grandparents, Raising Grandchildren, and Tompkins Tots, just to name a few. He or she is a person of deep social conviction with a moral compass that always seems to point in the right direction, and that direction is toward the betterment, once again, of folks who don't have the advantages and privileges that some of us do. I have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing this year's 2012 Sister Rose recipient, Mr. Bruce Noel.
Really don't know what to say. I'm very humbled. Having known and worked with Sister Rose for 25 years, actually more than 25 years, receiving an award in her honor is just, it's the ultimate. But there are really a whole lot more people that are much more deserving than I am. All of the accolades that have been tossed at the HSPN are absolutely true. The work that the folks that you folks do on a daily basis and really get together a safety net that's been torn apart on various levels of government. You know, when the Obama administration came in and the stimulus money sent out money for HPRP, the homeless and housing program, the Housing Service Providers Network showed what they could do with that money when they had resources. Other than the physical bodies that you have every single day, that you do, the work that you do every single day in helping the people who are most affected by the gap between the rich and the poor, the people on the bottom end, the folks who are experiencing homelessness or near homelessness. We showed what we could do with resources, not just the bodies that we have in our different agencies, but actually having financial resources, being able to pay a month or two back rent so that folks can move on with their life and not always trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. You know, the work that you do every single day for this population is just unbelievable. The words that I remember often are from Jeff Travis. He's the director of the local DTA office. And he's involved with statewide meetings on homelessness as the bureaucrats develop their policies and this and that. And he always tells the folks at DHCD who now are charged with solving the homeless problem. He says if you want to see a good collaboration, a good coordination of services, just go down to New Bedford's HSPN meeting. He says that's where you see, he said it's the best in the state. You've heard it many times here before today from the folks who are participating in it. But this is from Jeff Travis, who goes to the state and sings our praises because we do get things done. The collaboration, the sharing, the work that we all do, that you all do, really has made the Bedford a much better place. You know, I look at some of the folks that I've worked with for many, many years at CRB Magazine in the background. And I remember those meetings, those initial meetings in 1995 when this coalition was being created and the discussions we had around here. Carlisle and Bob Ravello and different folks who were at the table trying to put together something to help the population that we saw was very needy out there. I remember, even been recently, you know, everybody pitches in, you know, we've got a client who needs X amount of money, well, I can put 200 towards it, can you put 3? And if you put 3, we can get someone else to put 2. That happens regularly, and I think this community is unique. And it really is a tremendous honor to be up here, accepting this great honor in the name of Sister Rose. And absolutely, I think someone said it right. She's a living saint of New Bedford, and I'm just very honored. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Bruce, for a very well-deserved award. And in the back of your programs, there's a listing of all the past recipients. And one person's not in the picture at that particular time, Fred Macedo is noted, but his picture's not there. So Bruce joins a long list of very worthy individuals that have received this very prestigious award in honor of Sister Rose. And I want to thank everyone for being here today to celebrate the HSPN's accomplishments, and also Community Development Block Grant Week. There's also a little handout that we put together in our office, kind of just summarizing the accomplishments of the Community Development Block Grant Program in the city over the last several years, and continuing to work hard to bring movements to our city. So thank all the speakers today. Thank Inez from Congressman Frank's office for your unwavering support. And thank all of you. Greatly appreciate you coming out today, your busy schedules, and thank you all for your great efforts in the community.